Welcome to the Side View series, where we take a look at tennis from a side view perspective. And I think looking at a tennis court like this from the side view can make certain concepts in tennis easier to understand. And today we're looking at hitting the ball on the fall. And this is more of a beginner tennis lesson. So I see a lot of beginners trying to hit the tennis ball on the rise too much after it hits the ground once, after the first bounce, right? So we don't really want to do that as a beginner or even as an intermediate or advanced player. We want to hit the ball on the fall. That is the ideal contact point. So before we talk about on the fall, let's talk about on the rise. Let's define that first. What is hitting the ball on the rise? So here's an imaginary opponent. They hit a tennis ball, right? It lands here and then it's about to go up. This is where you hit the ball on the rise as it goes up from the first bounce. That is hitting the ball on the rise or taking the ball early, right? And we generally don't want to hit the ball on the rise too much because there's a lot of energy coming up from that ball, right? There's a lot of energy and it's harder to time. So that's what I see with a lot of beginners. They try to take the ball too early or on the rise, and when it's very hard to time, and it's hard to time for both intermediate and advanced players as well. It's mostly an offensive type of shot. Also a common mistake with beginners, when they try to take the ball on the rise, they find the ball actually going over their head, right? So when a person hits the ball, say over here, goes on the rise, and the person is trying to get the ball over here, but what ends up happening is they overshoot it, or they don't understand it's going to fall back down again, and you don't really need to hit it there. And so they come up to the first bounce, they don't quite get there, and it goes over their head like this. And it's a very common thing for beginners. And so what is on the fall? And I alluded to it earlier, right? So when a person hits the ball on the fall, it bounces, right? It'll go up again, and it'll go down towards that second bounce. And that's really where you want to hit the ball, on the fall. And one of the reasons why we hit it on the fall is because there's a lot less energy when it goes down towards that second bounce versus on the rise where it's coming up from the ground. Also, a lot of the times you could just wait for it. Just wait for the ball to come to you. And yes, you can still hit the tennis ball. And this is where I want beginners to really understand. You need to understand the entire ball's flight path, right? So what is the flight path of a ball? Well, basically, here's again the person, they hit a tennis ball, it bounces, it goes up again, and it goes down. It actually goes down to the second bounce. And this is what I define as the entire ball's flight path. And there are variations of flight paths in tennis, right? So someone could be hitting a forehand, cross court. That will be different from a backhand down the line flight path. A serve is a different flight path than maybe a drop shot, right? So there's so many different flight paths of the ball, different variations. There's top spins and there's slices. But as a beginner, you just need to understand this whole thing, the ball's flight path, right? It bounces, it goes up, and it'll go down again. And if you understand the last part of the flight path, that is where generally you want to hit the tennis ball. And so I know hitting on the fall is still going to be tough. It's still hard to judge the ball, but I think a good drill for this is just basically going on the ball machine and hitting the ball after it bounces twice, right? So when you hit the ball after it bounces twice, then you understand the complete ball's flight path. And also, it takes more time for the ball to be sent to you, right? So you have a little bit more time to hit the tennis ball. And I think that'll work out. Again, you just need practice and patience. There's different flight paths, right? The cross-court balls are different from a down-the-line ball. The serve is coming from a different place. So you just need to practice all these things, and then you'll get the hang of it. So just be aware of the on the fall part of the ball's flight path.
If you enjoyed this video, kindly do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.